And obviously, in fact, I'm just smiling here as we have a very profitable situation running at this particular point in time as price action moved as expected, as projected during the live session yesterday. So where were we during the live session yesterday? We were around the $77.50 level. Remember, we have been enjoying a bullish momentum since the beginning of the week after price broke out of the $71.50 level. And we had the first position running right above the structure here. We had the second position running here. Then we also had the third position running on Wednesday at around the $75 level, and we had the fourth position running at the 75.50. And yesterday we actually took advantage of another opportunity right around the $77 area, which didn't move very well as we saw sellers take over the market around the $77.50 level. So we are quite very profitable prior to the trading activities for the New York session yesterday. And one thing I laid emphasis on yesterday is that we have two possibilities that we shall be looking out for. And then to guide our trading activities, I was able to identify two structures. That is the resistance point here at the $77.50 level. And then we also had the support level here at the $76.80 area. And what we said here yesterday is that for those who had missed out on this buy position here, that we want to be patient enough to look out for a breakout of the $77.50 level, followed by buying pressure right above the structure in our lower time frame so that we can join the potential move to the upside. But this is not what happened here, as the second perspective was what happened. And I said yesterday that if the sell pressure here continues, remember we had a sell pressure here a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago, and then I told you that if sellers takes over the market here and breaks down the $76.80 level, then we might be having a reversal pattern, which will be coming in the form of a double top structure. As you can see here, we saw the first touch here, price came down here, we saw the second touch at this point, and I told you that if a breakdown of the neckline of that reversal pattern happens, then a retest of structure followed by selling pressure, we want to be taking advantage of the sell move to the downside. And this is exactly what happened here. As we saw the breakdown of the $76.80 area, price came back to do the retest of structure, followed by selling pressure around this area on our lower time frame. And in fact, it was a very good setup for us to join that decline to the downside. And for those who are taking advantage of this move yesterday, very well done to you guys. Kudos to you guys, as currently you will be running with over 270 pips in profit if you are taking the first position. And I also laid emphasis on the fact that the current structure here has a tendency of giving us multiple entries on the US oil, as we also identified the $76 area also, as if we cite a breakdown of that structure as well, that a retest selling pressure right below that level on our lower time frame is another good opportunity for us to add more position to that trade. And if you're also taking advantage of this move right here, well done to you for taking advantage of that move, as you will have added another 180 pips in profit on this one. So kudos to you guys. Now, the next thing we want to be doing at this particular point in time is to lock in some profit. Then I want to make some clarity here. And if you remember what I said at the beginning of the session, I said Fridays are always uh um Thursday, Fridays are always these days that participants who had made profit earlier on in the week want to be taking some profit, and this is likely going to be reflecting on the chart as a retracement move. So remember, we had this impulsive move since the beginning of the week, which took price back into the $77.50 area while we started seeing sudden pressure, and this might likely be a retracement of that impulse leg, after which we might start at one point in time start looking out for buy pressure around this area that might incite another wave of bullish momentum. So we want to get ourselves prepared to take advantage of that move as we head into the New York session today. So the first thing I'll be saying here right now is move your stop loss accordingly. Let's lock the sell positions in so that we don't get caught up in any sudden pullback that might likely happen here that will take us out of that position. So I'm somewhere around the $75 level above that structure, 75.50, 75.50 or 75, above the 75 level is most appropriate for us to lock in some profit at this particular point in time so that we can give room for price action to breed. So right now, let's quickly take into consideration this impulsive move that started at the beginning of the week, and let's use that as a projection for where this retracement move might likely end. So if we bring out our Fibonacci retracement tool at this particular point in time and run it through the previous impulse leg, we should be aiming at an area between the 50 and the 78.6% of the previous impulse leg as an area we shall be projecting that the retracement phase might end. So if we do that, I would like to draw out that zone. So we should be having target for sellers here. For sellers, all right, then we should be having this area as a potential buy zone. That is, if we start seeing buy pressure around that area or a reversal pattern in the form of probably a double bottom structure, a EVA's head and shoulder pattern, whatever it is, then we want to be taking advantage of that move. So let me quickly identify this area for the sake of clarity. All right, so let's delete the retracement tool. So here we are. So we have a huge TP target zone for the sellers. So that is between the $74 level and the $72.50 area should be an area we shall be looking forward to the TP target for this current sell position that we are in right now. And if you look at the $72.50 level, we saw how that level was broken at the beginning of the week, remember, which also shares a confluence with that trend line that was guided selling momentum since last week. So we had the breakout of this $72.50 15-cent level. And from a technical standpoint, whenever we have a breakout of a structure like this, we expect that one point in time, there is a likelihood that price might come back, do a retest of that structure in anticipation of another wave of bullish momentum. So we want to be taking all these structures into consideration while we monitor price action. So at this particular point in time, we're at a very critical point in this market. And for those who had missed out on this sell position we took advantage of yesterday and during the earlier hours of today, let's see if the market is going to be giving us another opportunity to add more position to our existing trade. So right now, we are at a very critical point, and that is the $74 level here, where we want to be patient enough to see how price is going to relate to this current structure in order to decide if we are going to be buying or probably continuing that short move into the $72.50 level in anticipation of that bullish momentum I said earlier. So what I'll be doing right now is to advise us to remain patient here. Let's see how price is going to relate to the $74 area in such a way that we might be having buy pressure right above the structure that might incite another wave of bullish momentum. So that is why I said we should be moving our stop loss accordingly to lock in some profit, just in case buy pressure resumes from that area that might likely send price to the upside. So we want to be getting ready to even join that move when it finally happens. Then the other possibility we could have here is price breaking down the $74 level here with selling pressure right below the structure on our lower time frame. It could be our 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or 10 minutes time frame. Look out for selling pressure below that structure. Then we want to be adding more position to our existing trade. And if you are not yet in this trade, it's another opportunity that the market might be presenting to us to join that move to the downside. So at this particular point in time, we are within the tick profit target zone. So let's see how far this retracement phase is going to go. So we have a maximum point below the $72.15 level, and then we have the lowest point at the $74 area. So let's see how price action is going to relate to the structure here in order to decide on what our next line of action is going to be like. So I hope I made myself clear here. If you have any questions regarding what I just explained, feel free to drop your inquiries in the comment section, and let's see how I can be of help in that regard. So if we start seeing buy pressure here, we also want to take that into consideration. So if we start seeing buy pressure around this area, then we want to be scaling down to our lower time frame to look out for reversal pattern. What I mean by reversal pattern, if you know your technical structures very well, you double bottom structures, inverse head and shoulder patterns, wedge, whatever it is, look out for breakout retest of structure in our lower time frame, then you want to be joining the rally to the upside. So ensure your stop loss is moved accordingly, lock in some profit here, and let's see how price action will relate to the $74 level. So if you have questions, feel free to drop your inquiries in the comment section, and I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the charts and see if there are any questions before I move on to the next option.